What's up, everybody?
Hey. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, we are excited to be on with you guys on tonight. We are back with the Cleave and had a little time off
I
just to kind
know.
of relax and breathe a little bit.
Reflect.
We didn't realize how aggressive of a schedule it was to do a podcast every Friday
Every Friday.
with the kiddos. And so we are back, we are refreshed, and we're going to have a wonderful time tonight. I hope you guys are excited to join us and to be a part. Now, before we get started, I want to take just a few seconds. If you are here live with us on tonight, go ahead and share this on your social media platforms. Tonight, we are live on our new The Cleave Facebook page. And then we will, next time we get together, which will be on Friday, June the 10th, we will also be live officially on our The Cleave YouTube page as well. Tonight, we're live on our church page. So we are excited that you are with us. We're going to have a fantastic time. And tonight, we're going to be talking about handling conflict in the marriage. But before we kick it off, we got some special guests on tonight.
And they're like really good friends of ours.
No, they family.
They're family.
They're family. This is
as long as
family.
we've been together. We what is it really, Pastor Andy? That's almost 22 years.
Yes.
22 years. We were just talking about that Joel the other day. Like we've been together 22 years, and then June will be 17 years married.
Yes.
That's a long time, honey.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So we have some great family friends with us. It's always good to have a powerful couple with you and do life together.
Yeah.
Life together. I know Pastor and Andy, and you can speak about your brother. But me and Pastor Andy, we're excited to see each other today. So Pastor Andy and I, we can pick up the phone anytime. We don't talk to each other for months, right? But then we'll pick up the phone and catch up like we talked yesterday. That's family. And I believe in protecting my space, honey. I believe in protecting my space. But Pastor Andy is welcome in my space. But the good thing about them is that we all went to school together at Dillon University. We all went to school together. So it was the three of us. And then there's Pastor Mo.
What's up, Pastor Mo?
There's Pastor Mo. But let's talk about how authentic this is. How authentic was y'all's relationship?
Well, so Pastor Mo and I think I saw on social media, Pastor Mo, you tell me if I'm wrong. I think I saw that you guys were starting a church. And knowing Pastor Andy, I reached out, I think just to say, what's up, man, praying for you guys. And then from there, it just birthed this brotherhood and this friendship. And I think we talk more than the ladies.
They do, and I love their relationship.
What'd you say, Pastor Bo?
Yeah, we hit each other up probably around 5 times, maybe more a week. But when you found out about what we were doing for ministry, you immediately reached out. And you were so real, you were so open. I'll never forget one thing that you would always say: I'm here if you need me. Whatever you need me, whatever you need, just let me know. Whatever I have is for you. You kept reiterating that throughout our conversations, and that was just, priceless.
And meaning
it, because people will tell you that, until you call them, right? But for you, I didn't have to call. You were calling and checking on us, see how we was doing, but that's priceless. You can't put a dollar amount on that kind of heart, So we're excited, man. We love y'all. We love y'all. So glad to contribute to this. I hope that we add some value. Our lives are parallel, right? Because your daughter is in gymnastics and Morgan is around here flipping all over the place.
All over, yes.
And we share those stories, right? Grant is doing swimming and Kaylee is doing track, so that's racing. Carson is playing baseball, and I played a little bit of baseball until I got stung, and basketball was my thing. So it's just amazing how we have a lot of similar stories, and that's how you know this is a divine connection and not something that we force.
And for me, I've told you all before, you guys have always been genuine to me. Y'all have always been real, down to earth, love God, and just who you are. So I've always admired you guys, and I always speak highly of you. So I thank you guys for inviting us. We're just glad to be in y'all's presence, sharing this with you all.
Thank y'all for seeing a little bit of something in us to contribute.
Yeah.
And a lot, not just a little. A lot. You know, our purpose and focus with the Cleave is to ultimately we want to build kingdom families, kingdom marriages, and kingdom relationships. And the relationship that we share with you guys is definitely a kingdom relationship that God really just kind of brought together. And you know, one of the things, you know, my wife was talking about her time and being very specific in particular when it comes to the investment of relationships. You guys have just imparted so much into us. And I mean, you know, Pastor Bo, you know how I feel. I mean, man, sometimes I just listen to your messages over and over again because you just drop so many gems and wisdom, and especially when it comes to relating and working with people. And so I appreciate that. So let's get into it tonight. Tonight we're going to start off talking about how to handle conflict in the marriage. I want to ask you this, and I'm kind of putting this on the spot just a little bit. I want to have you guys, if you would, define conflict. I say that because I read something recently, and it was talking about marriages, and it talked about the difference between conflict and combat. And that blessed me because I'm finding in this season, so many marriages are in combat. It's not even, it's progressed past just healthy conflict. They are in combat. So give us kind of a working definition, if you would, for conflict in the marriage.
You want me to go?
Go ahead. No,
So conflict is when you have two people that's in a serious fight because they have two opinions that's constantly opposing each other. And it's dangerous, whether it's in a marital relationship, friendship, whatever. It's dangerous when you don't know how to manage the conflict. So if I could give you a working definition, it's two people that's fighting, whether it's verbally, passive aggressiveness, that's fighting. Because there is opposing belief, there's an opposing opinion that nobody want to give up. Hence the conflict.
Where does it cross that line into combat? Because you know, conflict is inevitable, right? In marriage, as long as you have two people, you're going to always have different ways of thinking, you know, birthed into different families, different backgrounds, circumstances, philosophies. So conflict is going to happen. But I think conflict can be healthy if you got the right tools. But when does it cross that line where it's like, you know, it's getting real?
I think it crosses the line when the position changes, right? So when you're in conflict, you're still on the same team. You're just disagreeing about, you know, how to get to whatever goal you're trying to get to. You're not agreeing on how to get there. But it shifts when you shift position to now we're not even on the same team. Now we're opponents. Now when you're in combat, your spouse now has become your enemy.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, your spouse is somebody now that you're not, you know, you think about rules of engagement, you think about war, when you think about combat. Now both people have weapons out, literally trying to annihilate the other person. Their opinion, their self-esteem, whatever they are valuing, you are trying to kill it. So now you're no longer in that, you change your position now, we're no longer on the same team. Now we're on opposing teams trying to stop the other person. And so that's when conflict, whenever you take in that position, turns now into combat, and now both end up wounded.
That's good. That's
wounded,
good.
Yes.
Wounded. Pastor Andy, I want to go. Can I push you a little bit? I want to go a little.
Please.
Okay,
I love to do that.
Yes. Pastor Andy, what do you think happens inwardly, either with the husband or the wife, for that shift to happen to combat? What do you think is happening inwardly to shift like that?
So inwardly, I feel like there is anger.
Okay.
You are so angry at the person that you can only see what that person is opposing you with. You are so angry, you can only see what that person is doing wrong. You are so bitter. There is bitterness happening. There is resentment because maybe what you're now in combat over has been happening over and over and over. And so now there's resentment because now we're arguing again about this same thing. And now I'm so angry that now I don't even think you're on my team anymore. Now I don't even think you're for. Now I think you are really opposing me. So now either I'm the aggressor and I'm fighting you, or I feel like I am being attacked, and so now I'm protecting myself.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
What's interesting is because when you talk about conflict, right? The end goal, and you just said this so eloquently, the end goal with conflict is to reach a resolution.
Right.
So like you said, when you're having to continue to rehash this thing over and over again, it means that we have not reached the resolution. So then it kind of grows into something that becomes, combat, and now aggression is there. Right. And really it's because we have not got to a place where we've humbled ourselves one to another so that we could really discuss and reach a resolution. And, if you don't get that resolution, you have to keep going around the thing over and over again. Eventually you're going to start to see that grow into more combat, and then you're never going to reach the resolution at that point because now you're at war with one another.
And combat is all about self-preservation. When you're at war, you are protecting something. You're protecting yourself. You are trying to keep you and your opinion and all that alive. So when you're in combat, it's no longer about the other person now. Now it's about I am preserving myself, my opinion, my way of doing things. And I'm going to protect it by any means necessary.
By any means necessary.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback off of that, I think what has to happen, because you said it a moment ago, Pastor Joel, conflict is inevitable.
Yes.
You're going to fight and have conflict in a marriage. Your dog sometimes.
Oh, what happened? I don't know if that's us or them.
Yeah.
We're still live, but I think it may be us.
It just happens.
I don't know what happened. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys are still on. I think we may have lost Pastor Mo and Pastor Andy, so we're going to wait and see if they come back on because this was good. I'm going to check my Facebook page here, too, to see if it brought us back on live with you guys, but I think
yes, we're live.
We are live. Okay, so I think we lost their connection, so hopefully they'll come in. So let's just keep kind of touching on this because I think it's good, and they made such eloquent points.
Yeah.
Is that we have to be very cognizant in our marriages that when it comes to trying to reach a resolution, that we are very intentional at seeking the resolution so that it does not turn into combat.
Correct. And when you were talking, I was thinking about combat. I was thinking about you will get to a point. The Bible says we should crucify our flesh daily. And so when you transition to combat, your flesh then has come alive.
Oh, yeah.
is come alive. When you're in conflict with your spouse, you're still in a spiritual realm. You're trying to reason together. You're trying to come to a resolution, I guess.
Yeah.
Solution.
There's humility
there.
Because, and I don't want to cut you off, but the reality is that sometimes even with our opinions, though they may be valid, they may not be the best when it comes to that situation.
Right. Absolutely.
So there's a level of humility that has to exist.
Yes.
In trying to reach a resolution.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, I think they're back with us.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. It's all good. We were freestyling.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, man. Again. So we were just talking about, really having to humble yourselves when it comes to resolution.
Right.
Because the reality is that with two differing opinions, resolution is key. We want to reach resolution. Humility requires oftentimes one party realizing that though their opinion is valid, it may not be the key to resolving the issue. And your other spouse may have an opinion that really is the best in that situation, right?
Yes.
Even sometimes with parenting, I really respect my wife because with her being in education for so many years.
Thank you.
With her being in education for so many years, I really lean on her heavily when it comes to navigating certain nuances with the kids. Because she's worked with kids for so many years. She understands behavior. She knows how to navigate. Me, I have kind of like an on and off switch. And oftentimes it's the same. It's repetitive in my approach. I just go off and say, be quiet. This is what I said. You know what I mean? But she knows how to navigate stuff and think through it differently. And so I rely on her and I respect that. And I know, hey, there's a level of humility there because we're trying to get resolution. I don't have to be right.
Right. And let me toot his horn right quick. Yes, I operate in that gifting. However, it takes both of us, right? It takes both of us. And we had a recent big conflict and I was take a deep breath like this. I was breathing in and breathing out. And Joel said, what's all this? Tell me what this is. Who's doing his finger like this? What is all this? What is all this? And I said, I feel da 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 da. But in conflict, let me tell you, when you have two believers, let me tell you what happens. In conflict, my goal is not to destroy him. Even when I know his choice probably wasn't the best choice. So choosing my words, how I communicate that is not to belittle him. That's not the point. The goal is to get back on the same page. So me thinking that, he came around and said, no, I own it. I was wrong. I should have listened to you. And so that just loosened everything. It just, it just created a whole nother atmosphere.
It created a safe space for resolution versus combat.
Correct. But it even took it in further, nor did I want to allow him to bleed in front of our child. Once again, I'm going to cover him and say, well, we decided, guess what he did? He jumped in and said, nope. I was wrong, son. It wasn't mama. I was like this. I was like, oh, okay. This is good. But it was so good to see even our son see his father say he was wrong and he should have listened to this decision. But to see how I didn't have to I had to put his belt out there like that. He wanted to own it and allowed me to stand in. You were right. Yeah. And so that was a great.
So let me ask y'all this, because really what you're saying is trust.
Yeah.
So how important is trust when it comes to conflict?
It's everything.
It's everything. Everything.
If you don't have trust, you will not be able to communicate.
Yeah.
If you don't have trust, you will not be able to hear each other's heart. It's everything.
Because I have to be able to trust you with my we were talking about that before we came up with you guys, creating a safe place. Like I have to be able to trust you with my most vulnerable self, my emotions. I have to be able to trust you when I'm wrong, not to embarrass me, but just like you said, to keep me to have me uncovered, not to undermine me in front of the kids, because that could have easily been a point. Yeah, and children, they're so smart.
Yeah, yes, very.
Yes, they pick up on everything. So trust is the foundation.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna share a bed with you, I have to be able to share my heart with you. I gotta be able to share those vulnerable moments with you and feel I'm not going to be judged. You're not going to look at me sideways, and you're not going to use it against me.
Yeah.
Correct.
Later.
Because what happens, the reason why people go from conflict to combat is because of unresolved issues, and that those unresolved issues often show up in a new argument. And what happens is it becomes a pattern. So now you're really arguing about something that took place 2 years ago, and nobody wanted to come to a place of understanding. Nobody wanted to be vulnerable enough. Nobody had trust. When trust is broken, you are in a mess.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're so right. When trust is broken, I mean, it's going to ultimately get to that combat because, you know, what I've learned, even in the years that we've been together, both together and then married as well, you know, as the years have passed by, the trust here is just so much stronger. And that really, I can really speak from a man's perspective, that really opens me up to be vulnerable to my wife.
Yes.
Because I know no matter what happens, whatever happens I almost said the address. I can't say that because we're live. Whatever happens in our home, I almost forgot where I was. Whatever happens in this home, I know it's going to stay here. I know my wife is going to cover me.
I got you. Honey.
So I can be vulnerable. I can say I'm wrong. I can admit it. And we can go towards resolution and keep the peace because I know this beautiful woman right here is going to cover me regardless. I know she's going to do it because she's proven that so many times. And that breaks down the walls that we often build in our marriages.
Absolutely. When the text says, and I don't know who's watching, but I just have to go there. When a text says naked and unashamed, we have to look at it from the man's perspective and the woman's perspective. With a man, naked to us is us bearing our heart.
Yes.
Like we are modest when it comes to our feelings. My wife is modest when she leave out the house. You know, she have to make sure certain parts of her are covered up, right? So for us, it's our heart. For our spouses, it's them, right? It's their whole self. So what we have to do in marriage, in a marital relationship, for those that are married, for those that are dating, you have to get to know your spouse or your intended, because there may be some triggers there that's keeping him or her from getting to that intimate place.
Yes.
If there's no trust when you're dating, then you better not marry them. And if trust has been broken in the marriage, then somebody needs to sit down and trace where the trust broke down, own it, so they can begin to work towards a resolution or reconciliation. But the same way a woman feels about her body is how we feel about our emotions. If I trust you with my emotions, I know that it's not going to leave this house. You're not going to call my mama and indirectly throw shade.
Yeah.
Indirectly?
Yeah. Indirectly. Yeah.
Indirectly.
You know, because people don't come out and say, your son ain't. No. They'll ask some off the wall questions that will hint around what the son not doing. Anyway, I'm not gonna chase that rabbit hole, but we have to make sure that we are being like she deserved all of me. Not just the parts of me that I'm afraid to show her.
Yes.
And as men, again, I go back. If I'm gonna share a bed with her, I'm gonna share my heart with her.
Yes.
If we go share a bank account together, I'm gonna give you all of my heart, whether you like it or not. You get all of me. Why not have all of me? Listen, you can have all of me. And I think what happens, we separate men, husbands, brothers. We separate our hearts from our spouse. It's almost like we test them with stuff. How you gonna test somebody you've been with for 10 years?
Wow.
She has proven, I don't know who I'm about to make mad. She has proven she can be trusted with your heart.
Yes.
But you rather tell the barbershop dude.
Right.
You rather tell you rather tell the female friend that you call a sister.
Correct.
Which is out of order.
Yeah, out of order completely.
Man, you better jump in this.
Oh my! You know what? God, that's
brothers, husbands, we have to stop doing that. the greatest compliment you just shared was what Grant saw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
He saw his father take ownership. My daughters see me take ownership. Daddy missed it today. I shouldn't have responded that way. And I'm teaching them what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
Grant is learning how to treat a woman, how a man is supposed to respond and take responsibility if he misses it. So that means he's not going to be afraid to make a mistake because his daddy told him how to apologize if you get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's powerful.
That's good. Yeah.
How do y'all handle conflict? You know, just in the marriage.
And y'all married.
What tools do you guys have in place? Because I mean, like we said, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You know, we have good days, we have bad days. You know, some days I'm stressed and I don't want to hear it. You know, and my wife, she'd be like, okay, let me give him a little space today and we'll handle it tomorrow. You know what I mean? So the stress is real.
Right.
You know, how do you guys navigate that? You know, what cues do you look for, how to move and shake when things are happening?
Yeah, I know at the very beginning, we had to really recognize what we were bringing in, like wrong ways to handle conflict that we brought into the marriage. Like I like to say, I was a professional door slammer. I could slam, like I just felt like that was the
Girl, you slam it hard.
Oh, it would be so good. Like it wouldn't be right if the door just didn't make a sound.
I'm like, is that window broken?
I'm not that strong. I'm not that.
Girl, you strong.
Whoosh. The wind helped me a little. The air conditioning helped me a little bit.
I'm gonna give you that.
But I mean, it's how I grew up hearing. Like I grew up, like hearing some of those kind of things. But and then you with
I was shut down.
Just shut down. So we had to recognize what we were doing that was not healthy, and patterns that we were repeating that weren't healthy. So once we recognize that. And, be encouraged, newlyweds, if you're newlyweds out there or dating, sometimes that takes a while. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're operating in some of those old ways until you really start paying attention to patterns and things like that. So we discovered that. And so then we made a commitment to each other as hard as it was.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm not going to, when we get upset, I'm not going to slam a door.
Yeah.
He made a commitment. I'm not going to shut down, but we're going to stay right here and we're going to talk it out until we get through. And it was hard at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so easy to walk away from a conflict. Like especially if you're non-confrontational, it's easy. Like, let's just brush this under the rug and keep it moving. But we really promised each other that we were going to stay there and talk it out until we came to a resolution. So I guess it started with us. Yeah.
And even when we find ourselves getting into something, a heated fellowship, I would just say, baby, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this. So come on, let's sit down. Let's take a deep breath and let's just talk this thing through. Mm-hmm. And what happens, like you have to do that. Like I wasn't doing that for her. I was doing that for me and to just shift the mood in the room.
Yes.
Because I was not going to go to bed with any unresolved issues.
Yeah.
Because as we tell married couples, whatever you go to bed with, you're going to wake up with. Mm-hmm. If you go to bed angry, you're going to wake up angrier, and you're going to look for something else to hold on to that anger or fuel it. So I would just say, baby, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And there have been moments I'll say, come here, give me a kiss, give me a kiss.
And I'm like,
now that's hard, right? Yeah. But I'm fighting against something. She's not my enemy. She's not my enemy. We have a vision for our marriage. We have a vision for our family, and I'm not gonna let what used to happen get into this new season of what we're trying to work towards.
Yeah.
So if I gotta crucify myself, bite my tongue just to lean over and ask her for a kiss to stop her from not talking or not wanting to talk, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on. No, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna hang up with the phone on each other. We're not hanging up. We don't do any of that. No bold text messages. No, let's talk this thing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was one time we stayed up till about 4:37.
Mm-hmm. Just talking. Yeah. And I think it was that conversation when it hit us.
Something broke.
But we realized, like, wait a minute, we want the same goal.
The same goal.
We're really fighting for the same thing.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
going in two different directions.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
That's good.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then for me, as a person that would shut down, it hit me. It hit me, family. I was like, wait a minute. How much time did I lose holding on to me not wanting to talk to her?
Yes.
I can't get that back.
Right.
Yes.
And even to this day, it still affects me. Now, I didn't like that. I like what you said. Now, why you say it like that?
Right.
What
Facial expression.
were you feeling?
Like you said, what was all of that?
What's all that?
What were you feeling to tell that to me in that tone? Because I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
If you need a drive, you want me to go get you something, I will run you a bath. Whatever you need me to do, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell her that, and then she'd be like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Now, for me, whenever she would tell me she's sorry, it would just get to me. It would get to me. Like, it would break me. Like, Laura, I know I can't hold on to it now.
Yeah. But you know what? This is the thing. You just said something. When you find that lane for resolution and peace, you will do whatever is necessary to protect.
I'm telling you.
To protect that. Yeah.
I'm not going back to no 4:30 a.m. conversation no more. No, we handling this right now.
Right,
Look,
yeah.
I ain't losing no sleep. When you feel it, when that atmosphere shifts, nope, let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Let's protect the atmosphere.
I'm going chasing after her. When I feel the atmosphere, she'll take. I'll go in the room and just jump on her. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're not going to bed like this.
Yeah.
Then I'll tickle her on her neck and do something. But I just refuse to do that.
When we talk about trust, and trust is built through consistency. What are you consistently doing? And when he started consistently, like when we would be in the house and we'd have a argument or whatever, and we'd be in separate rooms, not sleeping in separate rooms. Let me put my disclaimer out there. Not sleeping, but just being just
take a minute. Take a minute.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
He started coming to me first. He started coming and sitting on the bed and next to me. He'll just come in the room and just stand there. And the more he was consistent with that, the more trust built between us being able to talk to each other. Now that was something that blessed my heart, because I know it was hard, but he was consistent and we might not have known what to say at the time. Sometimes we just stand there quiet.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Show up.
Just show up.
Show up.
He's like, I'm here.
So it was hard, baby, but you didn't deserve that response from me. So for me, I'm like, she don't deserve that from me. Because see, for us, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's we.
Not.
Yeah.
It's we. I can care less who's right or wrong. Tell me what I need to do differently to avoid this from happening again.
Right.
Like, I don't want to hurt you again. And again, I'm pleading to the married people that's watching, those that will watch it. Get out of your ego.
Yes.
Get out
It's not
of it.
about, she did me wrong or he did me wrong. It's about you all.
Yes.
It's about you all winning, and you can't win if you're divided.
Right.
So for me, I felt
You can't win
if she could have yelled at me, whatever it was, I felt she did not deserve to go to sleep thinking there was going to be an issue tomorrow. So I took it upon myself, wherever she was, whether it's upstairs in the game room, wherever she was, I'm going to go up there and just sit by her, because I'm not going to give the enemy no space. I've worked too hard for this right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight him before I fight her.
Yeah. And it works when you actually like each other.
Oh Lord, we like Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
When you like your spouse, when you're really the best friend.
Genuinely like your spouse, not this.
That works.
I like how my spouse look. No. When you genuinely run home.
Yes.
Right.
Like when you run home, you can't wait to just sit on the sofa and watch old episodes of Star Trek, Murder, She Wrote. What else we watch?
We have started Murder, She Wrote, guys.
Heat of the Night.
Y'all went back to Murder, She Wrote?
I promise you, we watch it all
the way back.
Wow.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not for us. I just want to be next to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to allow my issue.
Yeah.
My old disposition of holding on to stuff to rob me of that. I just can't do that. I refuse.
Yeah. And, I would say to those that are single and you are looking to get married, right? And maybe you even have identified a potential person. One thing that I would say for you, just really listening to everything that's been shared tonight, is before you go down that aisle, you need to walk through some level of conflict.
Yes.
To see how that person navigates.
Yeah.
Because you said something earlier, and that is, we bring to our marriage the tools that we learned from what we saw modeled for us. We bring that to the marriage, right? And so you want a level of exposure to see how that person navigates conflict in relationship, because that's important. And it's going to tell you, I tell people all the time, make informed decisions, even when it comes to your marriage. Have information. Don't just be jumping down the aisle because they make you feel good and Google out. No, make a decision based on information. Know how they navigate conflict. Know what it looks like when they're angry. I need to know what you look like when you're mad.
The face correct. Yeah.
I need to see it. I need to experience it, and I need to make a decision to say, can I live life with that?
Correct.
If you never change, can I live with that? We gotta make decisions.
I am teaching my daughter right now. We have a 16-year-old. I'm teaching Kaylee right now. If somebody yell at you, because if he yells at you, he'll curse you, and if he curse you, he'll hit you. Now, I'm not trying to go to jail, but I will. So I'm telling you now, don't put do not. And you said it, Pastor Joel, because people look good and smell good and talk good. That just might be a nice facade.
Yes.
I've heard somebody say that you met their representative.
Yes.
They may have an anger problem that was passed down from their father or their absentee father or some. So you have to inspect fruit. You got to pay attention to the flags. Oh, I didn't know that he was like that. Yes, you did.
He did.
You just didn't pay attention.
Didn't pay attention. Yep.
Or you thought the marriage was
Yeah. In our marriage, very early on, I didn't trust myself to deal with conflict. So I shut down completely.
He was shut down like you, Pastor Mo.
I would just shut down.
I come with the guns.
And it took... Oh, yeah, she come guns.
I came loaded, locked and loaded.
You were ready.
Yeah, that was bad.
Personality and all.
I was ready, honey.
Pastor Andy, you know how animated she was in college.
Yes.
I came locked and loaded, and he would just shut down and look at me.
I would shut down because I didn't, what I saw growing up, my dad, he has a little temper. And so seeing that there was and I didn't learn this until a little bit later down the line, a couple of years, where I really had to do some growth and introspection, where I noticed that one of the reasons why I was shutting down was because I didn't trust that I could deal with the conflict in a healthy way without responding, so I would just not deal with it. I felt like that was the best way. And then I learned from my wife, who tackles conflict head on. Me shutting down and not coming back to it was just creating just really bad, just a bad atmosphere in the house.
Yes.
Because for her, there was no resolution. For me, it was enough to just not deal with it and we just move on and ignore it, because I was like, if I go there, it's probably not going to be great. And so I had to really learn.
But I was ready to go there.
Of course.
I was ready to go there. I was ready to communicate.
Yeah.
Because we communicate, and I grew up in a house that communicated.
Yeah.
So that was extremely difficult for me.
So she gave me time to develop, to figure it out, to work through it. And I say that because as long as she knew I was working through it and getting better and maturing in it, she could work with that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just shut down and not work on it, not grow in it. I had to show her that I was making some progress. So if I said I need time, she was expecting that U-turn for me to come back and say, all right, let's talk through it.
We set a timer. I'll never forget that early in our marriage.
We did do that.
We had 60 minutes. We set a timer. And when that timer went off, you had to come say something. Even if it was, babe, I'm not ready. Can we bring it till tomorrow? Got it. But you saying something after 60 minutes. So we had to put some parameters in there to say, you got to say something to me because you know I'm locked and loaded. Like, you got to say something. And so that really worked for us.
It did. It actually did.
We don't have to do that anymore, do we?
No, I'm good now. I can talk through it.
He talks.
Now, I'm still not, and Pastor Mo, you know this. As you can see personality-wise, I think Pastor Andy and I are the same. You and my wife are the same.
Very much.
My wife is very aggressive in nature. It's good. I don't say that in a bad way. So don't nobody give me no flack for what I just said. No. I think it's a good way because she handles conflict right when it happens. Mm-hmm. She doesn't allow it to fester. Mm-mm. She goes, as soon as it happens, she sees it, identifies it, and it's like, bam, let's go. And I'm kind of like, wait, I got to think. Wait, Lord Jesus.
I've been having like, wait a minute, the energy shifted. The energy shifted. But the energy shifted, Joel. What's that? What is that?
Yeah.
He'd be like, well, come on, what we're doing? We're doing that.
Yeah.
Is that doing that?
Pastor Mo, you the same way. I know you the same way. I know from talking, I know you the same way.
Mm-mm.
That happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, let me think. Because sometimes it'll happen, like you'll be feeling something. I have to figure out what I'm feeling first before I can explain to him.
Or was that Sunday? That was Sunday.
Was it?
I said, wait a minute. Go for a drive. What's going on?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was Sunday.
No, I think I took myself for a drive. I just need to go. So it wasn't even anything he did. He didn't do anything. It was a lot happening.
Here's what I've learned to do.
I say, you know what? Gas is $1 million. So I literally drove to our neighborhood pool area at the lake park and I just sat there.
So silly. Here's what I've learned to do. I've learned to, brothers, please hear me, pay close attention to her.
Yeah.
Like we could be driving from a restaurant and she'll just get quiet. And I'll lean over and I'll say, where did you go just now?
Mm-hmm. Where did you go?
And she'll tell me what she's talking. And she'll tell me what she's thinking about.
Yeah.
And then I'll do something or say something to try to lighten the mood. But if it doesn't shift, I know that I have to invest more time into trying to get her to communicate it. So I don't take it personally. Because that's what I would do. I would take it personally. Why you say it like that? It has something in my throat. Why you looking at me? Because my eye was itching. It's like I would take it personally. It just had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But I've learned to really pay attention to her so I can just be there for her in that moment.
That's funny because I think my wife is like that sometimes. She's like, what's wrong? Yeah. What happened? And I'm like, babe, wait, slow down. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. I'm having a moment. Maybe it was something work related it's because she's very tuned into that shift. And I'm starting to kind of develop that a little bit more too. Because I'm now, I don't know if you find that, but I'm starting to do that more too. I'm like, wait a minute. Something just shifted. Wait.
He is. He's becoming aware.
Kids, be quiet. Shut up. I'm like, wait, be quiet. I'm like, wait, something's happening. And I'm starting to become more aware. And that's key because kind of going back to one of the other things, and I know we're getting ready to close, is identifying those shifts before they get bigger and they grow and they become something worse. Seeing that now and observing it in the moment and being able to call it out and say what's wrong, that really helps to minimize the conflict in the marriage.
Yes.
Most times people are in conflict because they feel like they're not being seen or heard.
That's it.
That's it right there.
They feel like they're not being seen.
That's it.
They feel like they're not being heard. So now you're fighting. And like you said, Pastor Andy, it gets to that combat. Now we're on opposing side because you're not hearing me. You're not listening. You're not dialed in. So now I'm going to do whatever it takes to get your attention. But when you are being diligent and watching and observing your spouse and learning her moves, women learning his moves, how they shift, how they move, when you get in tune with that flow, you can ward off a lot of that conflict.
Yeah.
So
you really
can. You'll start laughing at stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Final thoughts. I'm gonna give you all the final thoughts because I know we're getting close to time here.
Ooh. Brothers, take time to learn your wife if you're married. Husbands, take time to learn your wife. Sit down, talk, explore. There's something new I see about my wife every single day, every day. We've been together, been married for 17 years. We dated for 2 years, so that's sort of 19 years. And there is something new I see about her every single day. take that time and just sit there, even if she's not talking, just sit there and just observe.
Yeah.
You'll learn a whole lot. And that'll help you love her, right? You can't love somebody you don't know.
That's
Right.
good.
And I'm going to leave that alone.
That's good. That's good.
Right.
I just want to leave y'all. We had Ephesians 4 to read. If you start at Ephesians 4:25 and just go on down, it's talking about the church, like how we behave as a church. But we know in the word that the Bible says that husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And so we know that the same characteristics as described in Ephesians 4 is the same way we are to relate to each other. So if you want to read that in your own time, it talks about not giving into anger. It talks about telling the truth in love. That's huge. That's something you and I were talking about. A lot of times conflict happens because somebody's withholding the truth. Somebody's lying to themselves or lying to their spouse. They don't want to, because they're trying to avoid whatever, they're telling the truth. And the Bible tells us to tell the truth in love. It tells us how to respond in be slow to anger, quick to hear, quick to listen. So if you just leaving you with Ephesians 4,
watch your mouth.
Yeah, watch what you say. Watch how you are communicating. If you're communicating in love,
you shouldn't be yelling at your spouse.
Soft answer turns away all.
Shouldn't be yelling, shouldn't be cussing, shouldn't be calling out. You shouldn't be doing any of that.
Yeah.
Because if you cuss husbands, if you cuss your wife, you're cursing your favor.
I'm telling you.
I'm done.
Yeah.
That's good right there.
You are cursing.
That's your
You
favor.
are cursing your favor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet that.
That's it.
You know, Jesus, the Bible says that as husbands, we have to love our wives the way Christ loved the church. And one of the most ultimate ways that he showed that love was sacrificially. He gave of himself. And as husbands, we have to make sure that in every area of our interactions with our spouse, that we are loving her sacrificially. The way we speak, the kindness, kindness can cure so much, even in conflict, but you can still be kind and loving with your approach and your words. I've learned that even in my kindness and how I express sometimes when I'm frustrated, you still understand where I'm coming from. I can be very kind and very what's the way? How could I've said it before and I'm trying to remember how I said it, but I can cover my words, but you still understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But I make sure that even with me expressing how I feel and maybe I'm angry at the moment, I never want her to leave wounded from my expression.
You're right.
I never want her to leave wounded. Even when I express what I'm feeling, I never want her to leave wounded from that. And oftentimes in marriages, we're leaving our spouses wounded and they're never recovering. They're never recovering because the wounds have run so deep with our words, our approach, our actions.
Yeah.
And now you're wondering why you stay in that combat zone. It's because of the wounds that you've created along the way.
Yeah. I remember at the beginning of my marriage, I wasn't tactful. I was not.
You weren't tactful?
Oh, whatever. Shade, honey. I wasn't. But I learned how to deliver my words with an iron fist wrapped in a velvet glove. And I had to learn how to do that. And now it's becoming an art.
Yeah.
Because I'm so honest.
I
speak so much truth, right? And the end goal, what I had to learn was the end goal was for my husband to hear.
Yeah.
He can't hear.
That's the key.
If I wasn't being tactful, he can't hear if the fist was so strong, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the ultimate goal. So I kept that ultimate goal in mind, the end in mind.
Yeah.
I knew how to deliver my words.
Yeah.
So good.
Hey, man,
That's
this
awesome.
was good. This was good. We thank y'all so
We
much
love
for
you guys.
joining us. We love y'all
Thank you,
so
guys.
much. I pray for those that are joining us tonight that tools have been shared that you can take back into your marriage and your relationships to practice so that you can ward against the combat. You're never going to get rid of the conflict. It's inevitable. As long as two people are in relationship with one another, coming from different backgrounds, various thought patterns and how you think, conflict is going to arise. But God has given us keys in his word on how to navigate the conflict so that the relationship can remain healthy and in love. And so just continue to put those tools in place, and we know that your marriages and your relationships are going to be blessed. Pastor Mo, Pastor Andy, we love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Love y'all.
And for all this viewing, we will see you on Friday, June the 10th.
June 10th, and a special announcement is coming on June 10th.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting.
So stay tuned.
I have to wait to June 10th to say it.
Yeah, we got to wait. All right, we love y'all. Y'all take care. God bless.
Bye.
Thank you again.